Well, how is your Monday going, guys? It's time for another episode of TJ's Chainsaw Restoration. And today we have a nice update on the Mcculloch 180. As you can see, it's all cleaned up and it's got a bar and chain on it now. Let's see, it would have been Saturday after work. I stayed late at the shop and decided to kind of get this old girl running. It ended up running with a tank of fuel put in it. I put a little bit of the fuel I mixed here and ran like a champ. Just wasn't really holding a consistent idle, so pulled the carburetor apart, and the carburetor was actually in really good shape for the inside. So I kitted it, put a nice Tillotson kit in there. And these don't actually have a fuel line in the tank. It's got a hose. Well, it's got a hose that runs from the carb to the tank, and then it's got a bunch of felt lined in the tank, and that's actually what your fuel filter is. So the inside of the tank was actually really nice. It was really clean. So I went ahead and replaced the fuel hose, the outside fuel hose, kitted the carb, spark plug in it was almost brand new, and then I put a new O-ring on the fuel cap. These had an O-ring on them, so got that sealed up, cleaned it up real good, pulled the covers off. The screw that covers the fill hole on the gear oil case just would not budge. Me and a coworker tried and we couldn't get it to budge, so I just figured, well, there must be gear oil in there if they Loctited that sucker in place or whatever they did. I don't want to damage that screw. I don't want to break that screw because that means drilling it out, so I'm just hoping there's gear oil, and I may, if I ever restore this, heat that area up real hot and see if I can get it to pop loose. But this bar is actually, it's just a 36-inch hard-nosed bar that I had. It's not a Mcculloch bar. Mcculloch bars tended to be specific to their saws. These had, Mcculloch bars, you can tell, usually have slots, a rectangular slot in the bar. Most of the Homelight bars had the round hole. And this also, the Mcculloch bars for this particular model especially had the oiler hole further down. What I ended up having to do with this one is I had to oval out that hole for the adjuster on the side here, and then I also had to ream, kind of make a trench for the oiler hole. What I ended up doing was just, the hole was here, and I just took a Dremel and just kind of reamed a trench all the way down the side, and actually it oils really, really well. I was surprised it worked, but that chain spins, and it actually tends to create a vacuum, and it even pulls the oil in. So I'm happy with it. I did do some cuts with it, and it cuts pretty darn well for as old as it is. And one thing I had an issue was there's a lot of rust on the sides of the bar, so I did clean up the bar real good, and I've got WD-40 on it. I'm going to eventually heat it and then put bar oil on there, and the bar oil will kind of suck itself into the pores of the metal, and that's what really keeps them from rusting. Let's get a brand new skip tooth chisel bit 404 chain. So let's give you guys a quick overview of how this thing looks. Well, she looks a lot cleaner than she did before. There you guys go. 36-inch hard nose. It's actually pretty clean. Not a whole lot of life left in that bar. It's got a little bit of hard facing left, but not a whole lot. But it ain't like I'm going to be using this saw every single day either. I did get a 404 conversion sprocket in. Here's the original 1/2-inch sprocket. There you guys go. But I got a 404 sprocket on there because I can get currently at the shop I work at, I can get 404 chain for half the cost of what it is. So, and with 1/2-inch chain, we don't supply that. So I figure if I can convert as many of my saws to 404 as possible, at least these big saws, then I'll be doing good. Anyway, so luckily this particular model does have the outboard coil, even though it does have points. The points are right under here. It's got a coil that sits on the side of the flywheel. So if the points ever burned out or went out, I could convert it to an electronic ignition by using one of the little Nova chips. So that's pretty cool. What else? Still got that right hand pull start. It's still a little hard to get used to. But you know what? Let's do a test fire. See if this old girl will start. So let me get you guys set up here. See if this old baby will start here. Alright, so these are a little bit of a challenge to start. Partly because they have a right hand start, and also because they don't have a choke that locks. So probably going to have to go off screen here for a second to get this thing to start. So give me a second. See what we can do here. Pretty good. That's just really neat. It's definitely a different saw. These were 87cc. This is the model 180. Definitely a slow moving chain too. But the cool thing was, even though they were, even though they were only 5.3 cubic inch, you could still put a 60-inch bar on this sucker and it would pull it, because it's actually got 3 gears in it. One thing you might know about this particular model is it's still runs, what am I trying to say? Still runs clockwise, as compared to the home light up here. Both home lights actually, that gear drive and that gear drive both run counterclockwise. They're both reverse drive, but the Mccullochs had 3 gears in them, so they could run forward, run regularly, and boy did it multiply the torque. These gear drives, you can just really lean on them, and they'll just hammer right through. So she'll be another candidate to do a cutting video with. This one may get a restoration. I'm not sure. I'm still deciding on that because, like I said, it runs really good. The points, I think, are sticking once in a while. I haven't actually cleaned them yet, but they could do with a filing, so I'm going to probably do a filing and then try that. And the reason why it wasn't revving very high is because these also have an air vane governor that kept them from revving too high. Because if you took that governor off, basically you'd be asking for this thing to just blow up. So it's got an air vane governor, and that's what limits the top end. But she runs pretty darn good, and I'm happy with it. So that completes another episode, guys. And this is a Mcculloch 180 with a possible cart motor in it. It does have the removable head, but that doesn't make it a cart motor. So that's going to be another thing I'm going to research, is seeing about finding out if this thing's got a cart motor in it or not. So, alright guys, well, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed that video, and please like and comment. Have a great one. See ya.